I'm going to record. Okay, sorry. So we missed a couple of problems. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, my apologies. So that happened. It shouldn't happen too often. Okay. So guys, I am going to take 1/3 and shade right here. This is 1/3 of the task. Okay. Now Gretchen got this much. Of course, it's 2/3. I don't even have to know. I don't have to. Of course, you want to highlight that connection to your students, right? Okay, how much did Gretchen receive? Did she get the whole task? No. John already did this much. But Gretchen looks at this much. This is the amount of work she has to do. She couldn't do the whole thing. She could only do 3/4. Well, nice. We're lucky. That's cut into 4 parts. This has to be 1/4. This has to be 2/4. This has to be 3/4. So Gretchen did this much. I'm going to make Gretchen blue. Okay. And of course, John came back and finished the task. The question says, so I'm going to make it dark green. Not that it makes a huge difference. I could have used the same color, but John did the green parts. Okay. The first row was done before he left. And these 2 last cells were done after he came back. And Gretchen did this much. Now, this is not too bad. So you really want to know. Now, you and I can say Gretchen did 6 out of 12. She did half. She should get half. But let's be a little more concrete. Let's say, okay, maybe we are not there yet. I can say, okay, how much should a person receive if they complete 1 cell? Well, that's easy. I'm going to take $150 divided by 12 and whatever that may be. Now you will figure out I'm not very good with doing things in my head, especially with decimal. I'm going to just do it on my calculator. 12.5. Could have done it, but I didn't want to mess up. Anyway, each cell is worth $12.50. Now I'm going to say, okay, how much money should he pay Gretchen? I'm going to say Gretchen should receive, she did 6 cells. Each cell is worth 12.5. I think it'll be 5 times 6 times 12, 12.5 times 6. I'm getting $75. Let's pause here a little bit. It's a little more concrete. Now here it seems almost obvious she did half, but I can give you a fraction where things will look a little different. It won't be so clean. It doesn't have to be so clean. Let's see, to slow us down a little bit on purpose, I'll give you guys a problem and I'll see if you can think about it. And if you want to share your screen, you see Word documents are not bad when you're doing fractions. You can share your Word document. So let me give you a problem, but I won't get rid of this screen. If you have any questions, let's ask. I'm going to give you a problem like Gretchen and I call it Gretchen and John problem, and I ask you guys to try it visually, or if you have a different way, that's totally fine too. On the exam, it'll be all online, so you'll do it any way you want. I don't care. It'll slow us down in a good way. I'll give you a problem, but let's pause there a little bit. And a couple of things I emphasize when I'm working with teachers is that, you know, it's one thing to know what you know, and that's very good. But when we teach, it's not just that we know it, how do we help others learn it? So we're talking about almost 2 connected things. You have to know what you're talking about. Then you have to make sure they get it and how you break it down, how you represent it in multiple ways. Now, if you guys want to do it algebraically, some of you will be middle school teachers. And you do a little bit of algebra there too. And of course, this can be easily done algebraically. The king, queen, grapes problem, try it algebraically, you'll be all over the place. If you don't have any questions, let me give you a Gretchen problem right here, okay? The solution is not going anywhere, but I'm gonna bring the Gretchen problem from another source. Let me just grab a problem at random, okay? And here is the problem. See if you guys can, if you guys want to try it. Okay, change the pace of the class a little bit. Sorry. I'll give you guys good 5 minutes and I'll shut up. I'll send you the problem in chat. You can copy paste it. Those of you, if you want to do it on your Word document, you can share it, all those things. Let me know if you guys want to share. I don't know how many minutes I gave you, but I'll let you guys decide. Otherwise, I'll be happy to do it, but we'll see where we are. Anybody is interested in sharing your screen and tell us how you would do it? Okay, let me try it if that's okay. And you can always say, no, I want to do it. That's totally fine. You can always interrupt. So let me try it. I'm going to take the two denominators, 3 and 5. I am going to make a 15 cell table. Really doesn't matter how I draw my table. I'm going to say, I'm going to do it like this because I need the room in the bottom. 3 by 5 is 15. The entire task. All right, John did 2/3. This is 1/3. This is 2/3. That's what John did. 3/3 make a whole. So I'm going to say that's what John did. I'm going to make John's cells green. Now, when Gretchen saw the task, this is what she found. This is what was given to her. This is all she saw. Okay. And she only could do, and we're lucky that it has 5 cells. And that's why we take a 3 by 5 rectangle. That will always work out. So Gretchen saw 5 white cells and she ended up doing 3/5, 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. She only did 3 of them. So Gretchen did, I'm going to make Gretchen, sorry, I'm going to make Gretchen blue. That's what Gretchen did. And then of course, John came back. I'm going to make it dark green. Not that it makes a huge difference. Green represents John's work. Blue represents Gretchen's work. Okay, the question says he got 250 bucks, John. So each cell should be worth 250. I tend to write my unit in my final answer, 250 divided by 3 by 5, 15. And I'm just going to use my calculator. It's not too bad. Some of you can probably do it in your head. I'm getting 16 and 0.66, 16 and 2/3. I'm just going to write, it's money, nothing wrong with it. Each cell is worth this many dollars. Now, Gretchen did 3. They want to know how much Gretchen should receive. Receive 3 times $16.67. I know I wrote 15. Nice round $50. That's what Gretchen should receive. That's my answer. Let's pause there a little bit. If you guys are ever interested in algebraic solutions, because some of you, I think, if you teach any kind of math, you will, of course, use algebra. We can do it, or try the algebra on your own. On the exam, you can do it any way you want. I don't care. Even if you were in my class, I would ask you to do any way you want, but some of the problems that I'm encouraging you to do visually, they work better, and people, younger people, tend to understand them better. Oh, somebody's talking. Awesome. Thank you. Andrew, yeah, you got it. Moving, we have a little bit of, well, we'll discuss some of those things. Let's go ahead. I do like to record things so that everything is there and the people who are watching it, they'll have something to watch. Let's go ahead and do a couple of problems. Now you can always ask me to do more from one area, but I don't think this problem is too bad for you guys. I know that. I have an idea. I mean, based on what I've done in the past. Let's see what's going on here. The problem is here so that our friends can see. I'm talking to now everybody, not just the people who are here. Let's do 12 and 15. We'll do at least 2 more today. Oh, this is a good one. It's a very good one. All right. All right, this is a good one, guys. 12. So let's read it. Now, we have 10 minutes, I'll shut down, but we'll come back. We're not done with the session. Suppose 3/4 of a cup of spinach gives you enough potassium for a day. 1 cup of spinach has enough potassium for how many days? Think about it a little bit. I'll let you play with it a little bit in your head, then I'll show you my representation. It's a difficult problem, guys, and I can talk about this problem for hours. It's about division of fractions, and some people find it a little difficult. So let's do it visually, okay? And the reason this problem is a little difficult from the other ones we have done is because we are talking about 2 different things, a cup and a day. We're talking about a fraction of a cup, which doesn't have a whole lot to do with a day, except for you're eating some spinach to get enough potassium, something like that. But there's not a very nice link, okay? So I am gonna just say, I only see 1 fraction here, 3/4. So I'm gonna say this is my cup. 1 cup, okay? You have to be careful. It's not your 1 day. This is 1 cup of spinach, all right? Now, if this is 1 cup of spinach, and since we're talking about spinach, I'm gonna just use green. This has to be 3/4 of my cup, okay? Now, here's the rub. Here's the rub. It's 1 cup of spinach, has 4 cells. Why did I choose 4? Because that's my denominator. If I had 3/5, I would choose 5 cells to represent a cup. I'm going to use 4, choose 4. Okay, the rub is this has to be enough for 1 day. And I'm going to write here, this is the 3 cells must represent 1 day. Kind of related to my cup. Okay, so this is the structure of the problem. It's a good visual representation, not really an active. It's still iconic, icon picture, but that's what's going on. Now the question is, 1 cup of spinach has enough potassium for how many days? Okay, fine, I can handle that. I'm gonna draw my 1 cup again. 1 cup again. Okay, 1 cup still has 4 cells, exact same size cup. This is my cup. Okay, it has 4 parts. Now, I would argue this is enough potassium for 1 day. This is enough potassium for 1 day. I'm going to handwrite it if you don't mind, 1 day. Okay, this piece, this cup still has spinach in it, and it will give me enough potassium. And you have to be careful, not for a quarter of a day, 1/3 of a day. Okay, 3 cells give me enough potassium for 1 day, So one cell will give me enough potassium for a third of a day. So my final answer is, and I'm going to write it very nicely here. And it's a hard problem. I've seen the students sometimes find a little, excuse me, I know I'll go back and fix it for you guys. The whole. That's why I don't like, okay, better. Okay. Well, I'm just going to write it like this. And this thing will, if it shuts us down, I'm going to be coming back 1 1/3. My final answer is this: 1 1/3 of the next day, not 1/4. A lot of people will say, I have heard my other students sometimes would say, it's 1 full day and 1/4 of the next day. No, that's not true. 1 day is 3 boxes. Pretend you eat 3 candy bars per day, not candy bar, hopefully something a little better. You eat 3 bars of something per day. This 4th bar is good enough for a third of a day, not 1/4. That's it. And those of you are going to be teaching, it'll take you good 30 minutes to explain and work on this in your middle school class, and give it to, if you're teaching college algebra, give it to them. They'll scratch their heads too. Trust me. And I'll give you one problem to try, but let's get out of this session, but I'll let it die down. We have like 4 minutes. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer, but we're going to come back and do one more problem like this. Okay. And again, don't be shy. If you don't understand something I wrote, I sometimes misspell, feel free to correct me. And if I write 2 and say 3, just correct me. Does that make any sense, guys? Those of you who are here? Good. Let me do one more. Let's get out. I would like to spend about an hour and a half recording things and talking to you guys. So from noon till 1:30, and just a little bit of, in 2 minutes, we're going to be kicked out here. I'm going to come back, but let me make a few points. I didn't hear from anyone if they want a different time slot. So some people talk to me and they said they're going to watch the videos. So I'm going to stick to noon. Those of you who want to come, I'm going to stick to our schedule noon till 1:30. I'll try to spend about 1.5 hours a day. If nobody shows up, I will record some problems and kind of assume they are done. And some people told me if we get stuck, it is an online course. I'm not saying they're just skipping classes. It is an online course, so they can do it. Some people told me if we don't understand something, we will come and talk to you during this session. Just to let you know, I know we are being recorded. So I'll be here from noon till 1:30 approximately, and to work. I'm going to do one more problem. If you guys want to do it, that's great. Let me get out of this session. I'm coming back right away. Thank you guys. See you soon.